Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushua, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushua, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushua, call on La, Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shamalak Yabashah, Bashem Kakadash, double honest with Prophet of the Muslim, peace and teaching, Shalom. And right now, about to go into this little video, and it shows you two strippers robbed at gunpoint for their BET Award weekend earnings. And says two strippers robbed at gunpoint for $10K they made during BET weekend. And in the article, it shows, well, in this Instagram post that's within the article, says by Pimpin' Fat, which got 1891 likes, 1,891 likes, and 420 comments. Bullet point puts this for all the so-called in quote independent ladies, renegades who think they don't need proper representation. Stop playing with this game. Anything can happen at any moment. Luckily, they only lost 10K but walked away still breathing. Some people won't make it. Hashtag renegade, hashtag strippers, hashtag robbed, hashtag get you some folks, hashtag 16, hashtag 304, hashtag choose wisely. So basically, when people obviously, put in those hashtags, they're trying to have obviously their views and likes and comments to go up, in a sense where they're trying to push out that, hashtag to basically have their posts to be, targeted on certain keywords, so that when you search things up like that, it could post, obviously on the on the search engine, that it could show up. So it's because some people, they scroll through certain hashtags to see, certain information on there as well. So without further ado, I'll get into the video. Yep, that's it right there, and that's really judgment, because at the end of the day, that shows you why the scriptures are pretty much written for a reason. And you see, this is the reason why you women out there that think that y'all are independent, y'all don't need a man. Times are gonna get crazy to where you're gonna really be seeking a man, and it's only gonna get worse from there. Somebody named Stunt One says it's the wild west. Our community, it says anybody can get got. Strippers are going to need security. First of all, they shouldn't even be having any business being in that type of environment, to be working, particularly in that type of career. Because honestly, that makes you a target for all these wicked ass niggas that likes to go up in a club. And usually, being in those type of clubs, you see all type of pimps and drug dealers, gangbangers, things of that nature. And then eventually, being in around that environment, something is likely to go down, especially if you buying alcohol within that type of setting. Because strip clubs, they got like bartenders as well too, so people are more likely to get rowdy in that type of environment. And then they have security guards where sometimes, well, probably is frequent, obviously, in certain places where there's going to be a fight almost every time in the weekends. And pretty much with that, like, I'll bring out some scriptures, and Lord willing, make this lesson edifying. Don't want to make the lesson too long, so And Isaiah chapter 32, verse 9 says, Rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless woman, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruit of vine. And it's funny because the scripture in verse 11 says, strip you and make you bare. And that's basically how these women get down, like, in the strip club. They be stripping, they damn near almost bare naked, you know, butt naked, you know, and it's to the point where they get all this money, thrown to them by these fucking simps that's out there supporting, women shaking their asses and dancing in a promiscuous way. And it's like they getting all this money from simps that's not even sticking their rods inside them. I'm just saying, like, shit, all that money could be saved up on dealing with a fucking prostitute than dealing with a stripper, because there's some women that's out there doing those type of things, but yeah, at the same time, it's like they may not be doing, like, escort services. Sometimes, you know when they strip, they're just you know pretty much doing that on the side. Sometimes it's like they do stripping and they do prostitution at the same time. And they keep the obviously the escort services on the low. Sometimes they do those things, but at the same time, um, nonetheless, that whole shit is just straight up wickedness, and they have no business doing that. And then all that attention that y'all get at the clubs, you know, when y'all go home, you're gonna have somebody eventually that's gonna be trying to, follow you. And you women have it to where y'all get all these benefits, for being a whore, and that shit is just gonna come to an end, all those benefits very soon, you know. And then it's gonna get to the point where men are gonna start trying to follow you wherever you working at, making all this money, and they see that, oh, hold on, you don't got a man with you in your domain, wherever you reside, you don't got no man in your house, you single, or maybe you're dealing with another woman, so you're a lesbian, and both of y'all don't got a man. So boom, they just gonna go and try to much like take you and do whatever the hell they please with you, and then eventually they're gonna rob you and shit. And it, times in Jacob's trouble, you're gonna have to be trafficked by those type of men, and you're gonna be forced to work for them, you know. And you women who are strippers, I mean, and prostitutes and things of that nature, y'all gonna pretty much have to do it against your will, you know. And a stripper and a prostitute, obviously, there's two different things, but they're almost like, you know doing a defiling type of level of service, basically. Because one thing about a prostitute, obviously, they pretty much post out for, like, they have advertisements out there and things of that nature. They have pictures out there of them, and then you know they have a phone number to where, like, you have to pretty much either text or call and things of that nature. And then you have it to where, like, they got some customers that have reviews on certain sites for them, for trustworthiness. So it's like they're known by certain people that are either around the block, or people that you know live in the city, or maybe travel to the city and know how to find them and things of that nature, and know where they do their services at, at a certain, like, building or so. But honestly, you know for having all that attention, it's gonna pretty much be woman's downfall eventually. Because the reason why the woman is happy with all the attention that they get, and they want to seek more attention, is because of the social media, and the fact that Esau has this whole system to take care of them, which is like the police force. They got the law enforcement, and then they have you know security guards wherever they're working at, you know, to watch the buildings, things of that nature. Um, in the strip clubs, you will have the bouncers, of course, which is like the security guards there. Um, they also have like pretty much the judicial system that's in favor of the woman, you know, because of feminism. And all that shit is finna go away. You women are careless as all hell, man. You know, you Israelite woman, starting with the so-called black woman. Y'all are the most careless motherfuckers there is to be. You know, as out of all women, y'all are the most careless. You know, reckless. Um, you know, you name it. Women they are. And because if y'all being so careless, this is the type of judgment that's gonna happen to you. You know, you're gonna have to rise up from your rest. You know, from your comfort, from you being at ease. You know, and then it's gonna be more things like this happening. So now, those guys know where those women reside. They could just make it a routine to where they try to follow their social media. And these women are so stupid. Another thing too with that social media shit, they post it on their stories when they go places, what time they leave in a place, you know, what time they go to work. They post it on their stories. She lucky she lived in an apartment building to some extent, because like if it was her house, she would have been in more trouble, you know, because somebody pretty much got the drop on you and they know where you live. Now that's more issues on your end, because now you're gonna have it to where you don't got nobody else, like let's say a man living with you, so you definitely don't have that protection. Let me bring out a few more precepts. In Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 30 says, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, they will seek thy life. For I have heard a voice as of a woman in travail, and the anguish as of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hands, saying, woe is me now, for my soul's weary because of murderers. Exactly. Those men had guns. They could have murdered her and that other woman that they pretty much robbed. But instead, you know, they just took their one of them had a duffel bag, the other one had a book bag and a suitcase. So they just took all that and they just ran their pockets basically. They searched them, you know, to see whatever belongings that they had. And you know, God forbid if she had, let's say, her keys stolen from them, and they happened to just enter into the apartment and things of that nature, you know, because a lot of these women, another thing too, they're very materialistic, you know, especially if a woman happens to be a, you know, a 304, which is obviously a hoe, if you understand the slang. But these women, a lot of times, like one thing you realize when you go sometimes into their you know, their apartments or their houses or so, it's pretty much messy. And you know, from my experience, you know, having certain female friends and things of that nature, I've seen some of them went into their house and even sad to even admit, even my mom's home too was pretty much she's very messy with her room and stuff like that, because you know, they have it to where they like to buy a lot of materials and things of that nature. And honestly, you know, a lot of men, they most likely see those things, and then these women are so much into the social media. A lot of times with the things that they buy, they like to take pictures of it, and you know, they like to wear all this different type of clothing that they have. And these men seeing that you don't have a man in your house, they're gonna try to run up in your homes, try to these things will happen. That's why 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 is there. You know, how men breaking into other men's houses, stealing their belongings and things of that nature. It's already hard enough to do it to a man that or doing to a woman that has a man in her life, you know, and especially if you know that man is strapped. But now do it to a woman, especially so-called black woman that don't have a man in her home, and men see that on social media, they be like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, she's single, she don't, or if she's dealing with another woman, you know, they're like, oh, these are just two women, you know, there's no man in the picture, so they're gonna find it easy to, you know, pretty much get a one up on them and basically rob them. And all that fucking makeup y'all wear, pretty much the cum lashes, eyeliners, the wigs and weaves that y'all be wearing to look all beautiful, and the apparel that y'all wear, in vain, you're making yourself fair, as the scripture says in verse 30 of Jeremiah chapter 4. And, you know, thy lovers will despise thee and they will seek your life, you know. You're starting to see a lot of men starting to wake up to your bullshit, basically. And a lot of men are waking up to the point where they're realizing that, you know, they ain't getting pussy out of being a simp. You know, they're not pretty much getting the appreciation and the affection that they should be getting. And if it is, to some extent, some sort of appreciation, it's only for her to keep you in that, you know, that mindset, with that mentality of thinking that you're gonna get somewhere, knowing damn well you ain't getting nowhere, you know. And pretty much like a lot of men are starting to kind of like wake up to that BS. So they pretty much are hating you women for that. But it's all part of prophecy, you know, anyway. But it's gonna get to a point in time where they're gonna really seek your life. These men just seek to rob these women. They're gonna want you to, like, eventually in Jacob's trouble, to have to work for them. And it's gonna get to a point in time where any man that you run to, you know, realizing that you need a man, any man that you run to, you're gonna really want to cleave onto that man, you know. And if the Most High ain't dealing with that man, you best believe that man's gonna pretty much pass away, and he's gonna die in these troubled times to come, which is in Jacob's trouble. But obviously, if it's a man of the Lord that the Lord is really dealing with, you know, you're gonna really make sure that you gonna be submissive and you're gonna do whatever pleases that man. So that whole independent bullshit is gonna pretty much go right out the door, you know, in that time of Jacob's trouble. And these be the type of women that are like in that field of being a stripper, you know, and even being a prostitute. I don't know if she was a prostitute, but shit, sometimes a woman that works in that type of field of being a stripper, you best believe she has a high body count, you know. Even the average woman in general that doesn't even do that type of job has a high body count. Shit, you go to school, middle school, even high school, and then you hear of a girl, or actually couple, that start having higher body counts than some guys that are more sexually active than, you know, guys that are the same age as them, you know. And they could tell you that they're single, but they ain't gonna tell you that they're one night stand material towards, you know, certain guys. But that's the type of thing that goes on. But scriptures also say that, you know, that a woman shall surpass a man. So we all know through the spirit that that's one of the curses, you know. And I'll bring out another precept as well. In Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4, it says, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yet even the wicked for the day of evil. Even though that's mostly talking about, you know, Esau, because he is, you know, so-called white man is the wicked, they're considered to be like the man of sin, and their whole nation of people is considered to be wicked. But it also ties along with these niggas in the world, because they're under the vibration of Esau. Because you see, one thing about Esau being a power is that he made a lot of our people pretty much grew up to basically follow after his wicked ways, and he's groomed us by doing that with so-called this whole black culture, basically. That way these niggas go by the term trapping to think that they could use that necessary type of mentality and the mindset of trapping to basically move out of the hood, you know. And what these niggas don't really understand, that lifestyle is a trap itself, because is trapping really worth the risk to basically end up in jail for damn near fucking with so much felonies, and on top of that you got like a decade to life in prison? Is it really worth the risk having to go through all these lawyers to basically certain times throughout the year? You might have to go through this lawyer, that lawyer, to see if they can hopefully get you to have a possible a bail amount to be lower, to see if they could do that, or to see if they could hopefully get you on parole. It's not worth it. But the fact of the matter is that the Lord used these wicked ass niggas too, to fulfill his judgment. And he's gonna use a lot of these niggas on these women, So all these niggas having all these women that they're following on social media, and that watches stories like religiously, and that idolize you, he gonna eventually use these niggas to follow you women wherever y'all are. And eventually they're gonna, sometimes what thing that these women do is that they post where they work at, if they're in a strip club or whatever the case is. And those type of guys, like I said, they're gonna be trying to find where your woman is, and they're gonna basically, they're gonna rob you. And honestly, what that scripture mentions about how the men of the Lord are going to be more precious than fine gold, that's going into talking about the times that we coming into. You're going to really thirst for a man of the Lord, because you're going to know in that day that the Most High is dealing with that man. And as a woman, you're going to really understand your place and know that you have to be submissive, and that you have to do whatever that man says, because whatever man that you get on this side to basically allow you to commit your wicked acts, that man is going to die off in Jacob's trouble. Even before, he might die before Jacob's trouble. And to be honest, as these times are approaching, and getting into Jacob's trouble, you women are gonna have to be giving up your, something to those men that are pretty much protecting you, whether it be offering up your body. And honestly, it's gonna get to the point where even that's gonna be pretty much played out, because when a man already has his sexual urges fulfilled, what are you women really valuable for? What are y'all really providing to the table? Most of y'all have this outstanding requirement, the most of y'all on top of it don't even have the requirements of what a woman is supposed to, do, and what a woman's supposed to be like. A lot of y'all don't have real long hair that's past your shoulders. A lot of y'all can't cook and clean. A lot of y'all are definitely not no damn virgins or have no low body counts at least. You know, a lot of y'all are very anarchical and insubordinate that think that y'all could usurp authority over men. And a lot of y'all are contentious. And no man wants to really deal with a woman that has um that delusionally thinks that she has testosterone and tries to act all masculine. Nah. But you know, these men, they're gonna be probably requiring for you to pay them eventually for protection. You know, because I mean, it kind of serves y'all right to do that, because look at how much money y'all making in the society. You pretty much have surpassed men, you know, in the society. Um, you pretty much have gotten better jobs. A lot of times y'all are able to get better benefits than men. Esau makes it easier for you to get hired over men. You know, all y'all have to do is basically, you know, bend over and for the boss, and basically you got the job right there on the spot. But that's pretty much it on that. I don't want to really make the lesson longer than it should be, but pretty much that's the point. I make it clear, and I already pretty much went in on a lot, as it already is. So with that, hope I made the lesson edifying. Let's give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shalom, Malak Shah, Bashem Kakadash, so honor to the apostle Elsber Millstone, peace out, teaching, hope for elect, and Yahweh Bashem Shalom, Malak Shah, Shalak Yam, Anawanyam, Wako Yam, Wa Papa Ball, Shalom.